Coming up on this edition of Cogeco News, the city will be helping out the airport, as will city taxpayers. Late night fire, dangerous but not as bad as it could have been. And yes, giving out some treats to young and not so young. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Cogeco News. I am Greg Estabrooks. North Bay taxpayers will front the cost of keeping North Bay's Jack Garland Airport in operation until at least the end of 2021. With significant revenue loss due to COVID-19, North Bay City Council voted in favor of a $1.5 million relief funding package yearly. Clark Heipel has the story.
Yes, Greg, due to this coronavirus pandemic, ridership is significantly down at North Bay's Jack Garland Airport. We saw earlier this month Air Canada pull its services out of this airport. No more daily flights from YYB to YYZ in Toronto. North Bay City Council made a move on Tuesday night, which you saw live right here on your TV. $1.5 million of COVID relief funding from the city taxpayers base to the Jack Garland Airport to keep operations up and running through 2021.
The message needs to get out there that our airport is not closing.
That is Councillor Dave Mendocino, who voted in favor of the $1.5 million in relief funding for YYB. The negative economic impact of the coronavirus expected to be felt up at the airport even into next year.
We don't anticipate normal revenues coming up at the airport during 2021. I think the airport industry is going to be affected by the coronavirus for quite some time. So this money keeps the airport operational until normal revenues do come back, and they will. The airport, since 1998, since we took it over, the airport has been a viable operation on its own, and from an operational standpoint. So, and it's such an important asset. Again, this is all pandemic related. There's no way you can close down an airport. We heard loud and clear that if you close it down, that's an easy process. You can close it down at the snap of a finger. But to get an airport going again, it would be so costly, and so the time frame and everything you would have to do, it'd end up costing you more than the $1.5 million.
Councillor Mark King voted against this move. He's displeased with the direction of council concerning the airport.
I think it was a tactical mistake that council made. I was very supportive of item 1 in the motion that called for council, the mayor, and regional people to lobby the upper levels of government. But based on on last night's council's decision, I think that's absolutely fruitless to even try and do that at this particular point. There is no bargaining chip here whatsoever. I'm sure FedNor officials were watching that process last night, and I'm sure today they're very happy at the direction that we've taken as a city. So it's unfortunate.
King offered this option instead to save cost.
One of the directions I think that council needs to look at would be taking the airport directly in-house. And what I mean by that is the operation of the airport solely would come under the direction of senior staff inside City Hall.
Meanwhile, Councillor Mendocino says dipping into reserves is an option to offset the budget pressures for next year's deliberations.
Our reserves are healthy. If we need to dip in reserves to cover the 1.5 and allow all the other capital projects to continue, that would certainly be get my support.
Council meetings, as you probably just witnessed, are held over Zoom. So we go to that technology and style of meeting to get reaction about this issue, about the airport, from 2 other councillors regarding Jack Garland funding and the dilemma that goes with it. Scott Robertson weighs in, but first we hear from Councillor Mike Anthony offering his take.
When it comes to the airport, there's no question that there are citizens who are concerned about a city taking over the cost of an airport. And you know what? They're right. They should be worried because a city like ours should not have to take over the cost of an airport. That's why I think the three-pronged approach is so important. Some of these folks may not be aware of our three-pronged approach, where with point number one, the very first thing we're doing is going after the higher levels of government to say, hey, please step in, step up, and help us here. Now, the other thing that I don't think we're mentioning enough in this report, and I think as we move forward we could, I see it mentioned in two sentences on page one of the report, at the very bottom of page one in the background, and that's our relationship with NORAD and NATO. Our airport is a unique, one-of-a-kind facility with decades and decades of history when it comes to national air defense and the important defense of Canada, as well as working with our American partners to protect North America. This is a very unique situation, which makes our airport unique as well. I realize it's only part of the mix, but it's very important. It's actually life and death type of work, and it is imperative that I think that be part of what maybe should get us some special attention.
People said, why are we even contemplating subsidizing a private company when other private companies have suffered and other businesses have suffered and employees have suffered? And I think there's a misconception about this being a private subsidy. The airport is a public infrastructure asset. And I think the public needs to remember that, right? This is our airport. This airport belongs to the people of North Bay. And it's being run by a not-for-profit corporation, which, as Councillor Mendocino pointed out, has been running consistently excess revenues over expenses since it was founded. So this is a public asset, a key piece of economic and social infrastructure in North Bay that separates us from a lot of other cities our size. Councillor Anthony brought up a lot of the heritage of it, and Councillor Main talked about a lot of the present time economic value. And I certainly can foresee in the future the fact that this is in the future going to be an important asset for our economic development. So,
indeed, let's move on. No hesitation by the North Bay Fire Department to describe a downtown fire as arson. Just after midnight on Tuesday night, these pictures supplied by Lindsay Sarazin, and they are very, very good pictures, responding to a fire 333 Main Street East. Upon arrival, firefighters are required to put out the fire that started in a garbage can. Again, they believe it was set that was pushed up against the doorway to the building, which of course could have led to disaster. The fire had already extended into the door frame, say the fire department, and softened above the door. The situation was very close to turning into a very significant fire event, says Deputy Fire Chief Greg Saunders. Police were indeed called to investigate this very suspicious fire. North Bay business still trying to get a true footing now that reopenings are becoming more of the norm and not more of the exception. Chamber President Peter Chirico talks about that and a new national business partnership he believes would aid all Canadian small business.
Really pleased to announce our partnership with Canada United. It's started with Ontario Chamber of Commerce, RBC, and approximately 50 corporate sponsors have come on board to support our small businesses right across Canada. Gearing up for a weekend of Shopping Canada in August, late August, August 28th, I believe is the date, where they're going to support our small businesses across Canada that have come through where we are today. So it's a great partnership. We all know that our small businesses are the backbone of our Canadian economy. So this is a way of rallying behind those businesses and supporting them, especially as we reopen our economy, and really pleased to be a partner with that. CanadaUnited.ca is the website. Please go on it. Take a look at it. I think everybody's going to be really pleased with the corporate sponsorship behind it and the movement to shop locally, shop Canadian.
And how will that play out in North Bay, just the way it sounds? I mean, just please spend your cash here.
That's exactly, and we've always been a proponent of that type of spending in our local communities throughout this area, and you know what, they have supported us for so many years. The small business people have supported so many different groups, our charities, our sporting teams, all of these things throughout this. This is a way for us to make sure that we recognize what their efforts have been and what it's going to be in the future. And I think that this regional shopping, this local shopping, Ontario, Canada shopping is something that we really have to take a good hard look at and make sure that when you are shopping that you're supporting Canadians.
There is an issue of council, of course, dealing with the airport situation and taxpayers, and the mayor said taxpayers will be on the hook to keep it going until this ends. And no one really knows when this ends, but that still is a pretty expensive proposition, isn't it?
It's absolutely an expensive proposition, but at the same time we have to look at what those long-term benefits are going to be for our community. Having a 10,000-foot runway, is something that we need. And it's not just for emergency flights landing here, etc. Our Canadian Forces base, plus the businesses that have been relocated up there, all of these things combined, I think that it's another asset that the city has, and I believe that we should be supporting it. When we look at reserves and we look at those types of things, these are the times when we need to be using reserves. These are the times when there's uncertain times. That's what they're for. And I believe that the airport is well worth saving. They do some tremendous work in our community, and it's one of our assets that we have, and we have to maintain that asset. There's been a lot of money invested in that airport over the years with the refurbishment of the runways, both the main runway and the crosswind runway through Heritage, through the Heritage Fund, in the support of our local MPP and minister. So I think that those investments are key to the future of North Bay, and they must be maintained.
I want to congratulate Peter both personally and, of course, from everybody here at Your TV/Cogeco. He's being sworn in tomorrow at 11 a.m. as an honorary colonel. When we come back, much more Cogeco news right after this. Welcome back to more Cogeco news, everybody. Yesterday we told you a story about a very young hero. He was just 9 years old when he performed his heroic deed. Well, kind of a related story, same ceremony, same person dealt with the issue from a health standpoint, but a different person was the rescuer. We talked about a 9-year-old yesterday who We did show you his profile. That was Trent Hare, and it was a story about him helping out in a big way his grandpa, David Oley. That was in June. 3 months earlier, Oley suffered a cardiac arrest, and quick work by his neighbor, a retired nurse, kept him alive. She too was saluted Tuesday at EMS headquarters.
Thank people enough, especially the EMS and my wife and sister-in-law, and especially my neighbor. They saved my life, so I don't know how much better can it be than that.
Well, pretty much. It's been quite a year for David Oley. Twice he has had to have friends or family save his life. The first time back in March.
Actually reflect on this scenario. It's a truly remarkable story for Mr. Oley to suffer a cardiac arrest back in March with a successful resuscitation from our paramedics, and for him to have a second chance at life again to go fishing with his grandson.
And again, it was his neighbor who came to his rescue on that first fateful day.
My husband and I were having breakfast. We just finished, and the doorbell rang and the banging on the door, and we thought, there must be a fire somewhere. Anyway, the lady, Deborah, was calling, I need the nurse, I need the nurse. So I went running to the house, and they showed me where David was, and I went in the bedroom, and he's lying flat on the floor, and I could not find any vital signs. I could not find a carotid or a pulse. So I started CPR and kept doing CPR until the paramedics arrived. So totally different than working in the emergency department, because it's a controlled situation. Where in somebody's home, it's so totally different. It's a neighbor who you see most days, and you do it without thinking. You just go and do what you have to do. And it was my pleasure to just, it's so surreal sometimes.
Congratulations to everybody involved, and David Oley has got, again, friends in the right places. Some young bikers, cyclists, got some valuable in-person training on Tuesday, with more chances to come later on this week if you're interested. North Bay City Police hosted what they dubbed a bike rodeo near Lee Park. It was more educational rodeo than actual rodeo.
Well, I think it's really important. It's engagement with the community. We want to do get out and talk to people. As well, we can do safety work with safety aspects within the community, prevention within the community, and break down any barriers. We want people to know that we're people too. We live in this community, and we need you to work with us to make our city of North Bay and Callander a safe place to live.
Bike respect, both for the rider and for those that are walking around riders. Riders have to respect people. People have to respect riders. What are the key things you're trying to do here?
Well, there's some key messaging. So our summer students have done just a fantastic job setting up a course and getting the kids to learn the rules of the road, make sure that they can do it safely. At the same time, we reach out to the parents so that they understand that wearing a helmet is the most important thing they can do for their kids when they're riding bicycles, because head injuries are prevalent for young kids when they fall off their bikes. As well, just knowing the rules of the road and appreciating what we can do to make them safe when they're out there.
Amanda McLaughlin's two young children maneuvering quite well on the bicycle obstacle course. She was happy her kids did so well, and she says it's very important for them to learn the rules of the road when it comes to cycling.
We are an active bike riding family, and we're often on our bikes, so it's important for them to know the safety rules, know how to keep their bike safe, to wear a helmet, how to stop, turn, all those safety things when they're out on the roads with us.
For two little kids, they did quite well.
Yes, they've been riding for a while now, and they love it. They keep us very busy.
There'll be another bike rodeo on Thursday and another, or actually Friday, check that, Friday and Saturday, same location just off of Memorial Drive if you want to get your kids or the older kids out there to learn some bike safety tips. Well, the rain's been good for one thing. It's got the fire rating down. Clark Eipel back with a full-fledged, full-blooded weather forecast for you right after this.
Weather is brought to you by Canadore College. Great things happen here.
Came down for a quick look-see at Airport Lookout Park. Welcome back to Cogeco News. I'm Clark Heupel here on this soggy Wednesday for your 5-day weather forecast brought to you by Canadore College. It is a big day for Sudbury native and Jeopardy host Alex Trebek. He is celebrating his 80th birthday on this July 22nd. A very happy birthday to the Canadian icon. Now, he is releasing a new book, which is going to release some personal details of his life and his recent battles with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He has revealed to various news outlets that this is likely his last round of treatment, no matter what the outcome is. I sincerely wish Mr. Trebek a very happy 80th birthday and health and happiness for the future. What does the future hold for the weather? Well, possible thunderstorm on this Wednesday night, and then we're going to have sun on Thursday and Friday. Friday's shaping up to be a beauty. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast brought to you by Canadore College. Venturing overnight on this Wednesday night, it's the Daily Double.
Daily Double.
No, actually, we're going to have a chance of thunderstorm with a low of 12. On Thursday, the 23rd of July, we're going to have a hot and humid day. 25 with sun, humid index making it feel like 30, UV index 8. And overnight Thursday night, clear skies, low 15. Perhaps it will be good comet viewing weather. On Friday, the 24th of July, high 27, low 16. Sunny skies, that's Apollo 11 splashdown on Friday, 51 years ago. Saturday now, the 25th of July, the last summer weekend in July 2020, a high of 28 with sun and cloud mix, and overnight, Saturday night, low 20. Sunday now, looking to the end of the weekend, high 29, low 21, hot, chance of showers. Turning the page back to the almanac, we had a mild day, but cooler than normal, 22 for the high on Tuesday with a cold low, feels cold, of 9. Normals are 25 and 14 for the high and low this time of July. Well, there you have it. There is your 5-day weather picture. Do stay tuned. Our Greg Esterbrooks will have your sportscast right after this.
Sports is brought to you by Tag Construction for all your construction needs.
Welcome back to an Apollo free sportscast. Some off-season outreach by the North Bay Battalion, good to see, as they were out giving treats to first responders on Tuesday. Let's take a look.
Police station. Go nuts.
Yes, the police station was the next stop for the traveling, well, not really salesmen. They were giving away the treats. Battalion player Simon Rose, Battalion assistant coach Scott Ray, and Battalion GM Adam Dennis doing the duty, and all of them were happy to be saluting frontline responders.
It's really good to be involved in the community, especially in times like this. To just come out and thank everyone for doing what they're doing, and frontline workers, they're important. Even on a regular day, it's just something good to do in your community, so it's great.
Great idea, and we're really happy that they included us in this and allowed us to give a little bit of outreach back to the community. Of course, the frontline workers, they do a ton of, they're the unsung heroes, and really what we wanted to do is make sure that they got recognized, and something small but pretty important as well.
And why ice cream? How did that come to pass?
Why not ice cream? I mean, I think it highlights the Bay Street Treats, which is a really great business that's now back, and I think it's just a really good thing for the community. I mean, it's hot out. Who doesn't like ice cream? It's a nice treat to break up your day, and I'm happy to spread a little joy to the community.
And that beautiful little baby is Ellie Dennis, the latest addition to the ever-growing Dennis family. That's it for news, weather, and sports for this Wednesday. Bingo tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you live at 5 on Thursday for more Cogeco News.